This is Bobo, and this is Bobo's dad. They are both running the exact same race, the race to the American dream. The rules of this race were drilled into their heads since kindergarten. Go to school, get good grades, get a stable job, save your money, and finally, buy a house. It sounded like a fair deal, a simple contract. Bobo's dad ran this race in 1980. Bobo's dad didn't have to be a genius. He didn't have a side hustle. He didn't have a drop shipping business or a crypto portfolio. He was a milkman. Or maybe he worked at a factory. He worked 9 to 5, came home, watched TV, and bought a home at age 24. He paid for his college tuition with a summer job. He bought a brand new car for $4,000. The wind was at his back. Now it's Bobo's turn. Bobo is working harder than his dad ever dreamed of. He has a master's degree. He speaks 2 languages. He works weekends. He hasn't taken a vacation in 3 years. He is sprinting. He is sweating. He is doing everything right. But every time he gets close to the finish line moves. Bobo is exhausted. He feels like a failure. He looks at social media and sees everyone else winning, which makes him feel worse. But let me tell you the secret that nobody told Bobo. He isn't losing because he's slow. He isn't losing because he's lazy. He is losing because the track is designed to move backward faster than he can run forward. Let's look at the math that betrayed an entire generation. In 1980, the median home price was about $47,000. The median household income was about $12,500. This is the golden ratio. A house cost roughly 4 times your annual salary. If Bobo's dad saved just 20% of his income, he had a down payment in 2 years. It was mathematically inevitable. Fast forward to today, the median home is over $400,000. In many major cities, it is closer to $1 million. But salaries? They barely moved when you adjust for purchasing power. The ratio has jumped from 4x to nearly 8x nationwide. In places like New York, Toronto, or London, it's 15x. But that is just the housing cost. What about the cost of existence? While housing went to the moon, the cost of everything else exploded too. Healthcare? Up 200%. College tuition? Up 1,200%. Childcare? It now costs more than rent in most states. Bobo's dad could support a family of 4 on 1 income. Bobo can barely support himself on 2 incomes. This is why the save harder advice is insulting. You can't save what you don't have. After paying the landlord, the government, and the grocery store, Bobo's savings are basically loose change he finds in the washing machine. The latter wasn't just pulled up, it was chopped into pieces and burned for firewood. So Bobo thinks, okay, I just need to make more money. I will hustle. He gets a second job. He joins the gig economy. He delivers food in his car. He drives strangers around. He thinks he is being an entrepreneur. He thinks he is winning. But let's look at the math of the hustle. Bobo drives 50 miles to deliver a burger. He gets paid $10. He feels rich. But the gas cost $5. The wear and tear on his car cost $3. The taxes will take $2. Bobo actually worked for $0. He didn't make money. He just converted the value of his car into cash and gave it to the app. He's cannibalizing his own assets just to survive. He's running twice as fast to stay in the exact same place. But let's say Bobo actually manages to save some real money. He avoids debt. He doesn't use credit cards because he wants to be responsible. He walks into the bank to get a mortgage and the bank laughs at him. Why? Because he has no credit score. This is one of the greatest tricks the system ever pulled. To prove you're reliable with money, you have to be in debt to them. They don't want you to be free. They want you to be a profitable servant. If you pay cash, you're invisible. If you pay interest, you're a VIP. So Bobo is forced to play the game. He gets the credit card, he gets the car loan, he enters the trap just to qualify for the bigger trap, the mortgage. Bobo finally qualifies. He finds a house. It's not a mansion, it's a fixer-upper, but it could be home. He walks into the open house, heart pounding, ready to make an offer. Bobo offers the asking price. He wrote a heartfelt letter to the sellers about how he wants to raise a family there. But then, the institutions arrive. Private equity, hedge funds, pension funds. They aren't looking for a kitchen to cook dinner in. They're looking for a place to park $1 billion. Bobo needs a mortgage. The institution has cash. Bobo wants to inspect the roof. The institution doesn't care if the roof leaks because they're not sleeping there. You are. In some neighborhoods, corporations have bought 30 to 40% of all starter homes. And now, they're doing something even scarier. They're building entire neighborhoods that are for rent only. You cannot buy them. You can never leave the treadmill. They are turning a nation of owners into a nation of permanent tenants. But wait, if housing is so expensive, who has all this money to buy it? Where did the trillions of dollars come from? This is the most important part of the story, the part they don't teach in school. It's called the Cantillon Effect. When the government prints money, it doesn't fall from the sky equally on everyone. It goes to the banks and the rich first. They get the fresh money. They use it to buy assets, houses, stocks, gold, before prices go up. By the time the money trickles down to Bobo in the form of wages, prices have already skyrocketed. Bobo got a stimulus check. The rich got an asset boom. He's trying to fill a bucket with water, but the government is punching holes in the bottom, and the bank is holding the drill. And here's the trickiest part of the magic show. The government tells Bobo, good news, inflation is low. It's only 3%. But how do they measure that? They look at the price of milk and t-shirts and cheap TVs. They call this the CPI. But they do not look at the price of the things that actually matter for wealth: land, stocks, gold. So the price of the TV stays flat, but the price of the house Bobo wants to put the TV in goes up 20%. The things that make you rich are inflating at hyperspeed, while your wages are crawling at the speed of milk. You're running on a treadmill, but the rich are riding in a rocket ship. You aren't broke because you didn't save. You're broke because your money is melting. And to add insult to injury, the media gaslights you. They tell you that if you just had financial discipline, you'd be fine. They tell you the latte factor is keeping you poor. Let's destroy this myth right now. If Bobo deprives himself of all joy and caffeine for an entire year, he saves about $1,800. Meanwhile, his rent went up by $2,400. His car insurance went up by $500. His grocery bill went up by $1,000. He is drowning, and they're yelling at him for breathing too much air. The coffee isn't the problem, Bobo. The problem is that the currency is losing value so fast that your small daily pleasures are being blamed for a systemic economic failure. They want you to focus on your $5 latte so you don't look at their $5 trillion money printing machine. This is the end game, the forever renter trap. If you cannot own capital, you're forced to rent capital. And when you rent, you build zero wealth. You are simply a battery powering someone else's life. You work, you get paid, you pay rent. You repeat until you die. When you pay a mortgage, you're paying yourself. You get equity. One day, the payments stop. When you pay rent, the payments never stop. You can pay rent for 50 years, and on the last day, you own nothing. You leave with nothing. This is the future they're building, a world where you own nothing and rent everything, from your house to your music to the heated seats in your car, a permanent state of serfdom disguised as convenience. So is it hopeless? It feels like it, but there is good news. The first step to escaping a prison is realizing you're in one. Bobo has been playing by the old rules: save cash, work hard, in a game that has completely new rules. You cannot outsave inflation. You cannot outwork a rigged market. But you can learn how the system works. You can learn why the rich buy assets, not liabilities. You can learn how to protect your value from the money printer. You can stop being the victim and start being the player. We're going to explore exactly how to do that in the next videos. We're going to break down the traps one by one until Bobo and you are free. Welcome to the resistance. Welcome to Fresh Finance.